looking for which candidate really inspires the imagination and earns the votes of conservatives all around the country, the grassroots activists. I want to see the ones that are appealing to independence. I want to see the one that can win the general election, because 2012 might be our last chance to turn this thing around. We're in serious trouble as a country, and the Democrats, the president right now, are going in the wrong direction, and even though it's failed, they continue with these policies.
That was Senator Jim DeMint giving his opinion, an opinion which I agree with very strongly. We are up against it. There is a struggle, a battle, if you will, within the Republican Party between the neocons, the establishment, the John McCain and John Boehner, and all of the old-time, the old guard Republicans who are on the take, who have been part of the swing back across the center line from the Constitution, which is, as we've already said, is right of center. But now they've taken the party and its politics to the left of center, up until the time that last year's November elections took place, when the Tea Party, great Americans in America, got together and formed a Tea Party to take back our country and take this government back across the center line to the right of center where the Constitution is. They demand candidates that are conservative, constitutionally so. They want candidates that believe in a constitutional republic. They want small government. They want low taxes, and they want to be able to work, and they want to be able to educate their children, and they want the America of our fathers. And we are losing that. The biggest problem that we face here, Mike Horn, is I think within the Republican Party. I've always known that you've got to be wise enough to understand who the enemy is, and I think we certainly do know that, the progressive lefts, and we know who they are, headed by Barack Obama and all of his czars. But what's really interesting is that what the Tea Party election of last November meant, it was aimed at not only the left, but it was really aimed at the right. It was aimed at those Republicans who failed to listen to the American people who sent them to Washington, D.C. to defend the Constitution.
The left of center Republicans.
Yeah, the left of center Republicans. They last November decided, well, we're going to get rid of a lot of the leftists that are in governorships and in the House. They won the House back. They almost got the Senate. They're a couple of votes short of that. But the movement in this country, make no mistake, is on, and it is indicative of what we have today, and that is this: we have been given and crafted for the last probably 4 or 5 cycles of presidents in the last 20 some odd years, maybe, from the Republican Party, candidates that are leaning left. And George Bush came in with Karl Rove after that business model in Texas of compassionate conservatism. They came forth with it on a national level, and what it did was a cut your taxes, have a strong defense, wear some lapel pins of the flag, and at the same time spend a lot of money domestically. And George Bush did that. He broke the model for Republican presidents who wantonly pandered to the left. And what we have now is a weakened party. We have a party that has absolutely no center anymore in terms of its bravery and of its commitments to the Constitution. This election cycle, Mike, is to me the biggest event in this country's history.
You think this is going to be the biggest election ever?
I think this is going to be the biggest election ever in the history of this country.
Because of this,
because of what's at stake. We heard, in '08 that this is the greatest election because it was the first black man that has a chance to be President of the United States, and that is certainly true. But that is dwarfed by the fact that this election is really for the survival of the country and the constitutional republic. And if we have to get rid of this guy and run him out of town, and get Ron Paul in there, who I think is preposterously the wrong person, but I would vote for him. I would vote for anybody. I would vote for you, Mike Horn.
As long as they're breathing, even if it was a brick, you'd vote for the brick, wouldn't you?
I would vote. I would vote for anybody that comes in that says I'm for the Constitution, and that qualifies them in my book.
Has the Tea Party sort of waned a little bit? You hear about these Wall Street demonstrators, but what about the Tea Party people? Have there been any gatherings or groups?
They're quietly working behind the scenes,
Okay.
and what they're doing is they're working at a grassroots level, at a local level,
Gotcha.
at a state level, to get into the infrastructure, and this is where I think. I don't mean to be pedantic about any of this stuff, but at the same time, to understand what is the mechanism, what is the infrastructure and the model that gives us the candidates out of the Republican Party that we've been given, not only in the past, certainly John McCain and Bob Dole, the human pencil holder.
I'm Bob Dole.
That's right, my name's Bob Dole. Need a pencil? And I'm waiting for it, Thomas.
There it is. Come on. Thank you. I'm Bob Dole. Thank you.
Did Thomas go to Mexico with you?
Yeah, he did. He's still on the tequila.
He's so drunk, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Look at him in there. You can sit in the chair. You don't have to lay on the floor.
Yeah, just take it easy. Prop yourself up.
But what we have is an opportunity here now to not only canvass and listen very carefully to these candidates, all of them. Honestly, I make a joke about Ron Paul, but he should be listened to. I want to listen and see everybody. I want everybody vetted. That word, vetted. I want everybody vetted, so everybody now, when they go to the polls for whoever the candidate is, can't stand up and say, I didn't know anything about the guy, or who in the hell is this guy?
Exactly.
I didn't know anything about it. But so I want to hear everything about it. But here's what's really interesting: the Republican Party, the mechanism, the electorates, the individuals, the power brokers within the party at a local, state level that come together and decide we're putting the efforts of the party and its money and its resources behind this candidate is already been engineered. It's Mitt Romney. We have already been given by the party the candidate that the party wants.
Right.
What's left to be seen is, who does the base want? Who do the people want?
The people. That Herman Cain scoring higher and higher all the time.
And Newt, who I didn't
Newt
think
Gingrich is scoring up there.
Who I didn't think was anywhere near the pile, has a great opportunity in the next 4 months to really come out of this thing. And there's an awful lot of politics to be had and a lot of conversations. But when we come back, we'll talk. We'll get into all this stuff. We got a couple of sound bites here. They're really hilarious. But whatever you do, don't go away. This is the Fred Dry Radio Show along with Michael Horn. We will be right back.
Stay with us on CRN Coast to Coast.